Well, it's the second issue of DC Universe Decisions. This was a 2008 comic that was all politics. So, next time people tell you that politics is a recent event, no, it is. This is DC basically committing to 4 issues specifically to say whether their heroes were Republicans or Democrats. And do they do that? Well, kind of, not really, a little bit. What will be the moral of this story? We will find out. Let's get into it. Hey there, this is Perch. We're continuing our 4-part comic series here for DC Universe Decisions. In this case, we've got, rather than use a Barack Obama or John McCain, we're using the fictional characters of Davis Brewster and Martin Suarez on the Democrat side, and Catherine McClellan and Bob Ridgway for the Republicans. And it's definitely a fictional universe. The idea that there's a tight race between, Catherine McClellan and Bob Ridgway is, for the Republicans, a little bit comical, but yeah, whatever. In the last issue, basically, we learned that somebody is mind controlling random citizens and getting them to create violence at campaign rallies. No, not just spreading COVID around, but actually bombs. And we don't know who this is, but the DC hero is on the case. In order to do that, they've gone undercover with a lot of the candidates. But Green Arrow decides to go more than undercover and actually formally endorse Democrat Davis Brewster as somebody who could enact change. So where does that leave us? Well, we basically open up our issue with a little bit of a history lesson of, that a John Adams succeeding George Washington, and that there was it says, the first time in recorded human history that a great nation transferred power to a non-familial relation without battle or bloodshed, which isn't accurate, but that's fine. That's fine. It's basically their point they're making here is that through the voting process in our democracy, it allows us to, basically choose who we want to vote for. To vote, to cast one ballot is a simple and sacred privilege, and it speaks to the power of the individual. To decide, we need to listen. So it's a nice endorsement of the voting process. Certainly not not today, but definitely a nice look back. It is fascinating to see this comic compared to politics currently within the comics community. But at any rate, this was by Judd Winnick, Bill Willingham, and Howard Porter, in this case doing the art. And Howard Porter, of course, has gone on to do many things. But as we get past that nice unity message, we get to Hal Jordan and Green Arrow in a fight that basically they're arguing over. We don't campaign for politicians. We don't do this. And then Green Arrow points out that he got sandbagged by a reporter, fake news. And then they talk about ego and eventually, and then Green Arrow decides to call him a Nazi, and then Green Arrow doubles down, saying if the jackboots fit. When Hal, he basically objects to this, and then points out that Green Arrow is a multi-millionaire street vigilante looking out for the little guy from his ivory tower, and so eventually they decide to put down the bows, the arrow, and the rings, and have a good old-fashioned fist fight. So they basically fight all around the Justice League conference room here on the table, over punching each other until Black Canary finally comes in and has to separate them. So a good show of Democrat and Republican aggression there. So meanwhile, in some shadowy location, the villain always takes the time to put up all these clippings and pictures up on the wall. That's I don't know where they get that time. Anyway, they basically decide that we're going to try another assassination attempt, but who is it? Time is ticking out. So as they fight, we learn that Green Arrow's endorsement is helping in the polls. And, Red Arrow here, Arsenal, this pre-Arsenal, is basically saying that, hey, more people should do this. And just as they're saying, no, this would be stupid for all of us to get in here and endorse it. It's futile. It's a bad idea. Batman's like, this is all a bad idea. This isn't what we should be doing as heroes. But as they're having this conversation, Guy Gardner shows up to endorse Bob Ridgway, the Republican. And so that's no big surprise. And so basically, Gardner says that, he's a strong guy who stands up for our military and our families, and he's not a pinko like Green Slingshot is. And so, the Superman and Batman come to realize, this is getting out of hand. And meanwhile, Lois is on the case. She's been trying to, why are we spending so much time in the hero's perspective? You news guys are chasing the wrong story. You're not paying attention to important scandals like whatever Hunter Biden was doing or Trump's family. I mean, so sorry, didn't mean any of that. At any rate, you're chasing the wrong things and not paying attention to, the actual events that are going on. These are little comments that give me the downvotes. Anyway, so Lois is trying to tell these journalists how to do their work. But for some reason, this rando news agent woman is saying, you're a reporter, you've been getting an assignment, make it work. If you don't think this story matters, then make it matter, which is a dubious thing. But anyway, we then get to a little montage of, Dr. Light. We get Vixen and Power Girl. Power Girl's Republican here. Vixen is the upstart Republican. Dr. Light is the Democrat. Beast Boy is for the kind of the Democrat, and Wildcats for the Republican, and Plastic Man is saying he's a Republican, but he mainly seems interested in getting a chick in the White House. So anyway, we go back and forth with the heroes basically declaring that they're Democrat or Republican. Big surprise. Hawkman is a Republican. Firestorm is a Democrat. So we go back and forth here and there, and so. Lois is saying, what about you, Wonder Woman? What about you, Batman? What about you, Superman? And that's what will we've heard what all the little guys will say. What about the big heroes? So as they're pondering this, there's another assassination attempt, but they're able to easily kind of get this one under control relatively quickly. But as they get it under control, one of the Secret Service agents here, or at least the bodyguards, suddenly turns around and tries to assassinate the Republican candidate Ridgway, but another bodyguard leaps in front and takes the bullet. And nobody knows what's going on here, but the mind control seemed to hop from one person to another, which is a clue as to who could possibly be doing this. But anyway, as the heroes are reeling from this revelation that people can take control of minds in an instant, we suddenly discover that elsewhere, billionaire Bruce Wayne has officially endorsed his support for the kind of up-and-coming, the presidential candidate Martin Suarez. It's unclear in this. I think Suarez is the kind of incumbent Democrat, I believe, and Davis Brewster is the up-and-coming one, just like Catherine McClellan is the up-and-coming Republican and Bob Ridgway is the kind of incumbent Republican. I think that's kind of how it's, they don't ever really say, but that's kind of how it seems to shake out, is that these two are, so Bruce Wayne goes for the establishment Democrat. He's basically kind of your, I don't know, this would be like, I have no idea. Anyway, this is what's going on. This year has warped our minds so much. I should have a nice good quip there, but I don't. But that's where our issue wraps up. So the mystery is getting deeper. Somebody is able to hop from mind to mind, controlling people. Who could it possibly be? Jericho. But the heroes don't know. Meanwhile, more and more of them are joining the fray, electing their support for one candidate or the other, and things are getting messier and messier. The media is on a feeding frenzy, and suddenly these heroes seem to be taking sides. It's like a little mini civil war. This is like Marvel's Civil War, only done crappy and with politics, is what we've got going on here. So it'd be like Bloomberg supporting Biden. That was the analogy I was looking for earlier. It's like that, I guess. I mean, is Bruce Wayne Bloomberg? That doesn't really seem to fit either. Bloomberg seems kind of dumb, and Bruce Wayne's a fictional character. I'm not sure any of this stuff works. Anyway, there you have it. This was our second issue. Did you read it? What do you think? Were you stunned and on the edge of your seat around this mystery? Will they manage to pull off a good moral feel-good message at the end of it? We shall see. They try. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Otherwise, most importantly, thanks for listening.